From the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II men's basketball coverage live on the ECC network. In today's conference matchup, the College of Staten Island Dolphins take on the DeUville University Saints. Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, my name is Joe Foreman, alongside my broadcast partners, Nick Durst, and our engineer for today's game, Nick Bavona. Now, Nick, you and I just took in the women's basketball game. Unfortunately for Nick Bavona, he was summoned over to the scorer's table during that game. But for the CSI women, they picked up a big win over the Saints earlier today. It helps them, for now, secure the last East Coast Conference playoff spot. Still a lot to be decided there. As for the CSI men, a win today brings them to the doorstep of clinching their second consecutive East Coast Conference playoff berth.
Yeah, they want to clinch, of course, but I know if I spoke to Coach Tibbs right now, he would say, we should clinch. You know, that's just the thing we should do. We have higher expectations this season. We expect to win a conference championship. Let's take it back to preseason, Joe. When I did the preseason interviews with some of the players, I asked Messiah Mallory, what are you guys anticipating this year? And he said championship. So I don't want to say championship or bust, but this team knows they can win a championship, and that's what they're looking to do.
You might not say it. The players might say it moving forward toward the conference playoffs. But, Nick, obviously the Dolphins eliminated in the first round of the postseason last year. Their aspirations, a championship this year. First place is still in play for the Dolphins. However, it would be very difficult for them to move that high in the standings. They would have to basically win out, and Stack would have to lose at least 3 more games. Going to be tough. However, they can move one step closer towards securing the 2 seed and a first-round bye with a win here today against the DeUville team that they defeated last week.
And we saw in that game on Friday against Damon a great effort from the Dolphins on both sides of the court. Aaron Goldstein had 21 first-half points, finished with 28 in the game. We saw the Dolphins get a bunch of offensive rebounds that led to a lot of second-chance points. The bench, once again, proving to be a dividend in the game, in which we saw a bunch of bench points, outscoring Damon in that game 33-2 in that one off the bench. The Dolphins have had a lot of versatility with their team this season, and that's been a big reason why they're a top 2 seed right now in the ACC.
Dolphins have a lot to be happy about this season. The defensive effort has been there from game to game, and the offense has been prolific. They're shooting from the outside, thoroughly impressive all season long, and I think for most people watching this Dolphins team play, the tenacity they play with defensively and the outside shooting, 2 of the things that they will remember most against, or I should say, watching this Dolphins team. As for the game against DeUville last Friday, February 2nd, the Dolphins scored the win in that one, 84-71. DeUville battling from behind for much of that game. The Dolphins led by 5 at halftime. They won the second half by 8 points. Messiah Mallory, huge effort offensively, 18 points. He also had 12 rebounds. Not efficient, 4 of 12 from the field, but he was 9 of 10 from the line. And Nick, Messiah does so much, so well, as does Bryce Waterman, who's closing in on 1,000 points as a Dolphin.
Yeah, and Bryce Waterman, the guys wanted me to give him a shout-out. He put together the playlist from Friday night, so good job, Bryce. He's very into the music. But Bryce is closing in on 1,000 career points. Needs 20 today to get it done. Not sure if he'll be able to do so. He's going to get a lot of shots up. But whether or not he gets done today, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler, folks. Bryce Waterman will get 1,000 points. And I spoke to Coach Tibbs at halftime last game about just what it means to have 2 players on your team in the 30 years in the program, both with 1,000 points. And he just had nothing but great things to say about both of them.
We've touched on 2 players that make a big impact offensively in Waterman and Mallory. But, Nick, how about the defense the Dolphins played against DeUville in their last meeting on February 2nd? The Dolphins held the Saints to 4 of 23 from downtown and sub 40% shooting. What makes this Dolphins defense so good?
I think it's switching, and they do a great job of when there's pick and rolls and stuff going on the offensive side of the ball. The Dolphins will always make sure that they switch and guard the next man up. And that's what's big for this team. They have a lot of versatility in terms of size and length that help them, guard that three-point line, even inside the perimeter. Talked about Messiah Mallory this season, leads the team in blocks and in rebounds. He's a big reason why the Dolphins get those opportunities to get the defensive rebounds, to get them more possessions. We saw in the last game, both Oyakamis, while on the offensive side of the ball, were able to get a bunch of offensive rebounds, leading to second chance points for the Dolphins and giving them that win over the Wildcats of Damon on Friday. But in this matchup that they had last time with DeUville, We saw that the Dolphins out-rebounded them by 7. They lost the turnover battle, and despite that, they still were able to come out on top with the win. So not often you'll get a win where you have the more turnovers at the end of the day, but CSI was able to overcome that.
Well, the Dolphins have done a good job on the glass this year, averaging a positive rebounding margin by about 2.5 rebounds per game. But on the side of D'Youville, 2 names that look to slow down at the offensive end of the floor, Trayton Trice, Chase Jenkins, both of whom are averaging over 13 points per game. Jenkins is shooting 47% from the field and 44% from downtown, so that's someone the Dolphins will have to watch out for. Jenkins, in the last meeting, 1 of 3 from beyond the arc, 6 of 11 from the field. He was D'Youville's leading scorer. How can the Dolphins slow down D'Youville similarly in today's game, Nick?
Well, they need to continue getting their hands in the passing lane. We saw a great defensive performance here Friday night. It seems like every time there was a pass going into the lane, Aaron Goldstein's hands were over it, and the Oyakami brothers were breaking great defense. And I think a key is really going to be try to stay out of foul trouble. Didn't hurt them on Friday, but losing Messiah Mallory and J.J. Chestnut within the first 5 minutes of the game wasn't a great thing defensively. Those 2 guys are very key cogs in the defensive motor that gets the things moving here. So boxing out and obviously having those big guys down low to get the rebounds is going to be key and crucial.
Well, Nick, you mentioned the versatility and size for the Dolphins defensively, but at the offensive end of the floor, they have a tremendous amount of depth as well. They do a lot well, a lot of players who can do more than one thing for this team at the offensive end. How has that lent to CSI's success this year? We saw the Dolphins the other night dig deep into their bench as both J.J. Chestnut and Messiah Mallory were in foul trouble. However, the team didn't miss a beat.
I think when you look at this team and overall what its bench comes down to it, look at some of the players that came up key in that game for the Dolphins on Friday night. You had Orakamis, as I mentioned. Both of them were big on the glass with offensive rebounds. We've seen Shamar Lay these last few weeks really take another big role for CSI. Once he came into the game for J.J. Chestnut, he had a pretty solid outing off the bench. Chris Clancy makes some big shots when needed for the Dolphins. And you have to admit, when you look at this team overall, defensively and offensively, they give you that size and depth. They give you that versatility. And even if you are to take out a guy like Messiah Mallory, you can insert an Oyakami in there defensively to get you those defensive and offensive rebounds.
Both Adelaide and Michael Oyakami had very nice games on Friday night. And without Chestnut and Mallory on the floor, that duo provided the Dolphins with some much-needed defense, some much-needed rebounding. Also, Adelaide Oyakami scored 9 points. Don't sleep on his offensive contributions either. So Nick Durst, 5 games left on the schedule for the Dolphins. Of those 5 games, 3 will be at home. The next game CSI will play on the road at UDC Saturday, February 17th. They are then home on the 21st, the 24th, and the 28th. That game in the middle is a non-conference game against Bloomfield that was rescheduled from earlier in the month. And then, of course, the Dolphins wrap up their season at Queens College. How important is it for the Dolphins to try and lock up the number 2 seed early so that perhaps later in the season they get a chance to rest some players and not tax that lineup and that depth heading into the playoffs?
Well, if you look at the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl, it's always about that 1 seed. You want to buy, you want to lock things up to rest the players, but this team is so deep that everybody really plays anyway, so maybe you scale back the minutes a few on the big guys, but I think it's going to be crucial to lock up the 2 seed. Like you mentioned, the 2 seed gets the bye, puts you right in the semifinals, which would be right where the Dolphins want to be.
Dolphins right now still in contention for the top seed. As I mentioned, a chance to move up. If things break their way, they would need Stack to lose a few games. The Dolphins are effectively 3 games behind, having lost to the Spartans twice this season. That being said, top 2 teams get a bye, and if CSI can maintain this pace and continue winning conference games, they should be able to lock up a top 2 seed prior to the final game of the season, perhaps as soon as senior night. We will see how things play out heading into that game against Malloy on February 28th. But for today, the Dolphins have a matchup looming with D'Youville University. We are just moments away from tip-off, so we'll step aside and take a break. On the other side of this commercial, we will have the introduction of starting lineups presented by Chi Aesthetics Med Spa and Wellness Center. Chi Aesthetics Med Spa and Wellness Center. Our approach to beauty and wellness begins with a holistic plan tailored to the unique needs of our patients. When we consult with patients, We let them tell us what their problem is. We don't tell them what the issue is. We find out what they're looking for, and we discuss, and then we give them options. If you're looking to achieve radiant skin, you've come to the right place. We offer hydrofacials, microneedling, Opus Plasma, peels, facial and laser treatments, laser hair removal, body sculpting, fat freezing, hormone replacement therapy, Botox, IV drip therapy, and more. We are open Monday through Saturday and are located at 720 Forest Avenue, Staten Island, New York, 10310. We hope to see you soon. Visit our website at www.chiaesthetics.com for more information. And we're back from the tank. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Nick Durst and Nick Bavona with the call of today's East Coast Conference matchup between the College of Staten Island and DeUville University. It's now time for the Chi Aesthetics Med Spa and Wellness Center starting lineups. And Nick, you have those starters.
All right, first for the DeUville men's basketball team. Number 2, the junior guard from Port St. Lucie, Florida. He's ready for spring training. Nelson St. Louis. Number 3, Nasir Hammonds, the redshirt freshman guard from Norfolk, Virginia. Number 5 is Bryson Birdsong. He is from Winter Haven, Florida. He's a senior. Number 11, Noah Hutchins, the junior guard from Buffalo. Number 30, Trayton Trice, the junior forward from Romeoville. And their head coach is Andy Stark for the Dolphins. Number 1, the senior guard from Newburgh, New York, Jordan McAllister. Number 3, the sophomore guard from Ward of Liette, New York, J.J. Chestnut. Number 21, the freshman guard from Staten Island, New York, Aaron Goldstein. Number 22, the graduate student forward from Colony, New York, Bryce Waterman. And number 23, the junior forward from Ward of Liette, New York, Messiah Mallory, their head coach, T.J. Tibbs.
Those are the starting lineups presented by Chi Aesthetics Med Spa and Wellness Center. You could hear a pin drop at tip-off here in the tank.
A lot of anticipation.
My voice, the only thing you could hear in this building.
Everyone heard me read the starters. It's everybody.
It certainly was not that at the end of the women's game.
Certainly not. Huge win for women's basketball earlier today. As you can count that basket and one. J.J. Chestnut early, making a statement to open up this game.
Joe, how good has J.J. Chestnut been so far in his 2 years as a Dolphin? I was talking to him the other day. This is a guy who was not playing college basketball 2 years ago when he was at a different school, and he ended up transferring in here. He hadn't played since high school, but you would not know it. He's certainly a very high-caliber D2 college basketball player.
No doubt about it. JJ last year, a multiple-time ECC Rookie of the Week. Also won a Met Basketball Writers Player of the Week honor. Both he and Messiah Mallory receiving that accolade last season. First possession of the game for DeUville. This is Noah Hutchins defended by Goldstein, and Goldstein commits the foul.
We saw Goldstein on Friday with that career-high 28 points. A big reason why CSI was able to come out on top with the win over the Wildcats.
Goldstein 21 in the first half of that Dolphins win as the Saints nearly turned it over. This is St. Louis on the pull-up over Waterman. That shot is good.
St. Louis getting the first points of the game there for the Saints.
Goldstein drives the baseline and draws the foul.
I think what's been good about Goldstein these last couple of games, guys, we're seeing it from him. He's being a lot more aggressive when it comes to going to the basket and shooting from the outside, shooting a lot more than we've seen these last few games.
Coach Tibbs told me at halftime last week, we're not surprised that Aaron's putting up the points. I don't think it surprises anybody that he's able to score at will at sometimes.
He really took over that game against Damon for a spurt there on Friday night and electrified this building. That win for the Dolphins, a huge step towards securing a top 2 seed in the conference. They now own any tiebreaker against Damon. And Goldstein goes 1 of 2 from the line.
As we all know, guys, the difference of getting a bye and not getting that bye is huge, considering you have 3 days of rest from a first-round matchup and a semifinal matchup.
And the Dolphins can tell you how tough it is to go on the road for a conference playoff game. Building was rocking at UDC last year. I was there, seated right behind the bench. made a cameo on the broadcast. If you took a look toward the CSI sideline as the Dolphins force an early turnover. Feed goes to Mallory. Reverse layup is good.
Great job there by McAllister to feed Mallory. If everything stays the same, Joe, Dolphins might get the 2 seed, and just like the Super Bowl, they'll have a neutral site game to start off the playoffs.
Big crossover there by St. Louis, but he's way off on the jump shot. Good contest by Mallory. McAllister, entry pass to Mallory. He's double. Kick out, Waterman for 3. No good.
Bryce only 2 shot attempts Friday night, but that just speaks to how deep this team is. And any given night, any given day, anybody could score 15-plus points for this team.
Viewers got a look at that turnover and layup made by Mallory on the Dolphins' last made basket right there.
Acrobatic finish by Messiah. That's powering his way inside was Trayton Trice. 6'7", 230-pounder. Chestnut over to Mallory. Nice pass by Messiah. A bit too strong for JJ there. Now Waterman hands off to Goldstein, 8 to shoot. And that pass was tipped and stolen. Here come the Saints. Hutchins on the wing into the corner. Hammonds will bring it back outside and reset. St. Louis looks to drive, almost lost his footing. And now Trice will try a 3. That's no good. And McAllister is whistled for the foul.
McAllister gets called for the foul, but his whole arm was tied up by St. Louis as St. Louis went to the ground.
Mason Putnam will check in for Dieuville. This might be the first time I've called the Dolphins against Dieuville here, as that shot is short. We spoke about it during the pregame, Nick, but
typically I'm on the call solo for the Dieuville games while you're on stats.
Those Sunday games, incredibly difficult to staff, as Aaron Goldstein made that layup look easy. Dolphins by 4, just over 3 minutes gone by in the first half. Kick out to Hammonds for 3, too strong, and St. Louis has the rebound. I have, however, called a Dieuville game before, 2 of them in fact.
Baseball.
Basketball. Crossover, and Hammonds was stripped, but it will stay Saints basketball. Dieuville was a part of the Tournament of Heroes.
2 years ago, right.
2 years ago. Called a couple of games for the Saints during that Tournament of Heroes.
Right, I remember Putnam. He had a good game, I believe, back in the tournament.
I was thinking the same exact thing when he checked in, so you and I both have the same memory of that. That shot no good, and it's a shot clock violation.
Good defensive possession right there from the Dolphins. We've seen that a lot this year, guys, forcing their opponents to shoot last-second shots, and the Dolphins get that shot clock violation enforced right there.
Luke Tyson into the game as well for Dieuville, along with Putnam. This is Mallory. Quickly doubled. He kicks out to Waterman, now Goldstein. Goldstein, step-back jumper. And some of the crowd thought that went in.
Go through
it did not.
The basket.
It did not. Nothing but net. Bit short on the attempt by Goldstein. As that three-pointer is no good by Trice. McAllister saves it, but right to St. Louis, who's left open and can't connect. Mallory almost tipped it in, and it looks like Trice rolled his ankle, and he's down. It's 5-on-4, and J.J. Chestnut draws the foul.
So we'll have a media timeout as Trice will get looked at right here.
Media timeout.
Hoping for the best for him. The Dolphins lead this one 8-4.
Well, initially it looked like an ankle roll, but tough to tell if the injury may have occurred higher up. We'll see, as he's attended to by head athletic trainer Allison Ocasio. So we'll step aside and take a break. Dolphins lead it by 4, 15:27 to go in the first half.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends, live sports and watch parties, to Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
We're back from the tank where Trayton Trice was just helped off of the floor, putting no weight on that injured leg, so does not appear likely we'll see him again. We'll see if they wrap it up and perhaps that changes, but J.J. Chestnut at the line for the Dolphins, and he misses the first free throw.
That was a huge loss for the Saints, losing a player like Trice, a 6'7" build, going up against a guy like Messiah Mallory inside the paint. That's a big loss for D'Youville right there.
I think the question becomes now, who's going to match up with Messiah in the absence of Trice? As the second free throw was missed, but McAllister tipped it out. Second chance for the Dolphins. And how about that passing as Mallory converts another acrobatic finish?
Well, Saints immediately feeling the impact of losing Trice as Mallory is able to convert there.
Looks like right now Kevin Thompson has replaced it. Thompson wears number 24. He quickly fires, can't connect, and St. Louis couldn't corral the offensive board.
Second look right there. Another second chance opportunity. We saw a lot of that on Friday, guys. The Dolphins were able to get a bunch of offensive rebounds. They get one right there. And another, as you mentioned, under the basket layup from Messiah Mallory right there.
How about that flop in the middle of that play? I don't think Bryce caused the defender to fall down. I could be wrong.
I will say Nicole was saying that in the women's game.
And Mallory has two more easy points.
Side off to a good start. 6 points so far. Couple of rebounds.
Putnam outside for Thompson. Thompson was stripped. Ball loose on the floor and brought in by Chestnut. McAllister was pressured. He gives it up to Chestnut. JJ up the floor. Finds Waterman for three. Splash.
3 down, 17 to go for Waterman on the quest for 1,000 career Dolphin points.
And guys, you know Bryce wants to get some points today. He didn't have a single point in that win against Demon, so you know he wants to shoot.
Very uncharacteristic as Putnam is too strong from three. Dolphins have the board. They lead by 11. McAllister fighting through contact, posts up, and is stripped. But we'll stay right here.
That's played by Tyson right there to knock it out of McAllister's hands as he's going to check out. It'll be Chris Clancy checking in for CSI.
Clancy had a big 3 Friday night towards the end of the game. You know, he's in there. He's going to be shooting 3.
And that was a big one, considering Damon was starting to make a little bit of a noise late in that second half. That Clancy 3 was huge. He could put the Dolphins back up double digits and get that win.
Certainly.
Waterman out to Laddie for 3. No good. Rebound to Chase Jenkins. Hutchins into the corner, gets it right back. Bernard Fontes Jules also in the game now for D'Youville. As once again, Saints can't score. This is Waterman for 3. Splash.
There it is. Takes the dribble. Has a few words exchanged with this Sear Hammonds, but that's a big 3 for Bryce. Dolphins up big early, 18-4.
13-16 to go in this first half. Great start for the Dolphins, punctuated by this Bryce Waterman three-pointer. We'll be right back.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
And we're back from the tank as Noah Hutchins goes right to the basket and scores to finally snap the CSI run. It was a 12-0 Dolphins run. 15-2 run. Make it 15-4 now, just over 6 minutes. Great start for CSI at both ends of the floor. This is Laddie to the rim.
Goaltending.
And that is goaltending, no question.
Joe, I got to say real quick while the camera's over here, I'm pretty jealous of the D'Youville Saints women's team right now. They are just chowing down a massive amounts of pizza and chicken rolls up in the stand.
I could go for some pizza and chicken rolls right about now.
You got a big lasagna with your name on it for your dinner tonight for the Super Bowl.
Couple hours, Joe.
Wasn't my choice.
No wings?
Not that I know of.
Maybe you could pick them up.
Maybe I'll be surprised.
You're going to get a Slurpee on the way. Your old tradition, Slurpee and wings, right, for Super Bowl?
Slurpee is, once was a daily tradition.
Oh, daily? Jeez.
Daily, yeah. When I was young and playing basketball outside every day, I'd reward myself with a walk over to 7-Eleven for a Slurpee. Though they're not a sponsor, we can't give them free advertising.
We should start selling some
it a frozen
slushies
Coke.
Up at the snack stand.
Yeah.
We'll call it a frozen Coke. If they had frozen Cokes up at the concession stand, that would be a problem.
Frozen Coke to wash down your hot pretzel.
Joe would be ordering one every 10 minutes.
I would probably get one per half. Frozen Cokes are to me as coffee is to many. 12.5 minutes to go in the first half. The Dolphins' lead is 14 points. Fontez Jules off the crossover, tries the fadeaway, no good. And Adelaide Oyekanmi has the rebound. Laddie will bring it up. He's joined by the Oyekanmi brothers, Clancy and Waterman on the floor. Rice had it stripped away, but Fontez Jules couldn't keep it in play. Dolphins will inbound with 15 on the shot clock. Now, Nick Durst asked me during the first game how I thought the Super Bowl would play out. He didn't tell me what he thought, though. I think he said you can't take the Chiefs as an underdog as Laddie rattles into three. So I assume, Nick, you're going with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not? Once they beat the Bills, I think the rest was kind of written in the stars. Not really this was written in the stars, but written. And that's just the way it's going to play out because the big businesses like Disney want to make sure you bet Travis Kelce for MVP because Disney's going to want Travis and Taylor Swift at Disneyland tomorrow.
So Nick's going Chiefs. I said that my head says the Chiefs. Right. Everything else.
And I also said it's going to be a bad game.
And he said it would be a bad game. What do you think, Nick?
I'm hoping it's not a bad game because I've seen a couple of bad games the last couple of years as Hutchins will knock down that three. But we've seen the past couple of years where we saw that Buccaneers and Chiefs game a couple of years ago. That was a bad game. Pretty much was over by halftime. Hopefully that's not the case. My gut says Chiefs. I'm going to go with San Francisco, and I'm going to say CMC MVP.
All right.
I'd be stunned if a running back gets MVP. I think you either got to pick the QBs or Kelce.
On that team, I wouldn't be surprised.
When's the last time a running back got MVP? 20, 30 years ago.
Really? It's happened, at least?
It has.
I think it was Rodney
Rodney
Hampton on the Giants in 1986 or 1990.
All right. We'll have to do some fact-checking during this next time out.
We'll come back, and Nick Bavono will have the answer for us.
I was about to say, get at it, guys.
All right.
We'll head to break. CSI leads 23-11.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, got 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. If you could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
You Know I'm Right goes Vegas for that last commercial break. Of course,
Just like the Super Bowl.
Of course, Nick, one of the hosts of the You Know I'm Right podcast, along with Joe Calabrese. I believe Joe was maybe a 2 or 3 time game day staff member.
He made sure he was at the holiday party 2 years ago.
He did, and he was there.
Very good PA guy for soccer.
No question. 10 on the shot clock. This is Hutchins. To the basket. And a foul was called before the shot.
There's Clancy on the foul. That's going to be his first.
They're going to say foul in the act of shooting. Free throws coming up for Hutchins, who already has 7. And Hutchins goes 2 for 2 from the line. Now, one of those points didn't go up on the scoreboard. There it is.
There it is now.
There it is now.
Had some scoreboard issues earlier on in the first game.
Was there an event in the gym next door? As Laddie was blocked, and Oyakonmi can't convert on the follow, but he's fouled. And we'll see if he was fouled in the act of shooting on that second attempt. And he was. So if the scoreboard next door was being used, perhaps that might create some interference.
Maybe.
I don't think anything's going on in there.
I don't think so either. They wouldn't have an event in there
Anything going on in the swim.
on a game day.
Anything at the pool.
Free throw good by Oyakonmi.
We mentioned, guys, before the break, the last time a running back won Super Bowl MVP, 1997. So McCaffrey would be making history if he were to do it tonight.
Not quite 30 years ago.
Yeah. Before that was the Giants, I think.
Though it's
It was
hard.
Otis Anderson in 1990.
It's hard to believe that soon it will be 30 years ago in 1997.
Yep.
You were a year old in 97?
I was a year old, yep, born in 96.
So Nick was 5 and I was 4. So I just aged all 3 of us. Putnam stripped on the way in. It's stolen by Clancy. Dolphins on the run. Oyakonmi banks it in. Tough shot by Adelaide Oyakonmi.
Well, you said in the pregame, Joe, don't dismiss Adelaide's offense as of late. 9 points Friday night, following up with a strong performance early on here with 4 points.
He is usually one who is very aggressive off of offensive rebounds, as are most coming down with offensive boards, but he's beginning to become more aggressive driving, and he's been willing to shoot from the mid-range a bit more as well.
And it seemed like his brother Michael was the one that was able to tip the ball and force that turnover.
The 2 of them on the floor together have been a dynamic pairing defensively and on the glass. They wreak havoc in the passing lanes, pressuring the ball handler, and of course are both good rebounders. So to get that from your second unit so consistently is a big boost. Right now the Dolphins have 5 bench players on the floor as Oyakonmi secures that rebound. Laddie, Armas, Clancy, and the Oyakonmi brothers, and I'm not sure it gets any easier than that for Clancy.
Well, I don't know if you saw, Joe, what Clancy did. He faked the pass as he was going up court, and that allowed him to get that easy lane to the basket.
Dolphins lead by 15. Armas nearly tipped that ball away from Hammonds, and Hammonds can't make the layup. Clancy up to Armas. Now Oyakonmi and Laddie. Laddie crosses over, fights inside, and banks it in.
Strong move, strong finish there by Laddie. He's off to a great start as well, 7 points.
Laddie has really asserted himself offensively this season.
They don't come any tougher than that on that basket right there.
Dolphins go from an incredibly easy 2 to a tough finish. But Laddie utilized the body well and powered his way inside.
You see that slight hesitation from Clancy right there that led to him getting that layup on the previous basket. And then we'll see right here, Shamar Laddie, too. A very tough basket right there.
Dolphins send their 5 starters back into the game. As Hammonds brings in that inbounds pass, goes right at Mallory. Thought better of it and kicks out. 12 on the shot clock. Hammonds hesitates and is stripped by McAllister. Ball loose and scooped up by Mallory.
Great effort there defensively from McAllister.
Goldstein kicks out. Waterman 3. In and out. Waterman will try again. Splash.
Well, first you don't succeed. Never give up and try again. And Bryce Waterman making it rain there with his third three-pointer of the first half.
You give Bryce 2 chances that open, and very rarely will he miss both. As the Saints call timeout, they trail by 20. As you get one more look at that offensive board by Chestnut, the kick out to Waterman, splash. We head to break. Dolphins 34, D'Youville 14.
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
.08:07 to go until halftime, and the Dolphins have built their lead all the way up to 20 points, our score. Staten Island 34, D'Youville 14, and the Dolphins have really done a great job at both ends of the floor in this game. They are shooting 62% from the field, 50% from beyond the arc, and they've held D'Youville to 28% shooting and just 1 of 7 from downtown. On the glass, CSI also with a 12-5 advantage.
And you just love to see what this Dolphins team has done these last few weeks. A lot of mental toughness from them, getting those second chance opportunities and forcing these turnovers like they've done not only on Friday but here in this first half.
So far, so good for the Dolphins.
St. Louis banks in that 3 from the wing.
St. Louis, Port St. Lucie, Florida native. Have to wonder if he's a Mets fan.
Once upon a time for me.
Have you ever been to Port St. Lucie, Joe?
No.
I always wanted to go.
And Mallory can't finish the layup. I do expect to attend a spring training game while I'm down in Florida for
Clearwater.
softball.
Going to Clearwater to see the Phillies?
You know, I didn't check how close Clearwater is to where I'm staying. We're in Tampa, obviously.
Probably like 30 minutes, 40 minutes max.
30 minutes? Might have to check it out. But I know the Yankees are in town for one night game. Day games won't be able to happen because obviously we have softball during the day. But on Thursday, the Yankees do play a night game. Softball wraps up at about, you would suspect, 7 o'clock. The Yankees play, I believe, at 7:35 that day.
I think you need to hit the Phillies team store in Clearwater.
I think you're right.
2022, I went to Orlando, made the drive down to Clearwater for the day, passed through Tampa, so very close, Tampa and Clearwater.
I think we're about maybe an hour from the Tampa airport. We're a bit east in Winter Haven.
Okay.
We're a bit east of Tampa. But we're flying into Tampa. This is Chestnut. Ball knocked away. Now Goldstein over to Chestnut, who fakes, drives, Can't finish. The tip-in won't go, but Mallory has it again, and he lays it up and in.
Mallory 8 points now for the rebounds.
Fontez Jules is fouled. TJ Tibbs obviously was not happy ahead of that last timeout he called. A 20-point lead was very quickly cut to 15, and he didn't like that foul either. Renard Fontez Jules to the line. 3 shots. First free throw is no good.
I think something to note, guys, for this game so far for the Dolphins, 20 of their 36 points inside the paint. And especially with Trice now out of the game for the Saints, the Dolphins are definitely taking advantage of it right now.
No doubt about it, Nick. And I touched on the rebounding margin before. And the Dolphins have been dominant on the glass. And their 9 second chance points. Big part of the reason why they've been able to build this lead. And Chestnut lost the ball. Dolphins getting a bit sloppy here. And they commit another foul. So Chestnut turned it over, and that came in between 2 foul calls against him.
Bench kind of shocked that there was no whistle when JJ turned it over. I thought maybe he was fouled.
I thought so too. That first free throw won't go. Saints now 4 of 8 from the line. One of 2 trip to the line. Now Waterman left open. Splash.
That's over halfway there now. 12 points down, 8 to go for 1,000 for Bryce Waterman. 4 3-pointers here in the first half.
And that shot will go for Tyson over Mallory. Waterman inside. Mallory. And he was stuffed on the way up. Thought we might get a jump ball call. Instead, it's a turnover. Here comes Deauville. Tyson thought about a 3, and the Saints will slow it down. And foul is called against the Dolphins. Now, CSI now has 19 fouls.
While there was a foul called there, you got to give the Dolphins some props right there for getting back on defense very quickly and forcing that hesitation from Tyson right there. But now 2 more free throws coming up for the Saints. Or excuse me, 1 and 1.
Saints getting to the line a lot here as of late, which is what they need to get back in this game. The clock stopped to score points.
Well, they have to take advantage of these free throws. As Joe mentioned earlier, they're now 5 of 9 so far going into this free throw trip.
And the first free throw of the 1 and 1 is good. Lead down to 15 again. Dolphins have done a good job overall in this first half protecting the basketball. Just 3 turnovers. These last few minutes have been uncharacteristic. Mallory was left open, as was Chestnut. No good from 3. And here comes Birdsong, and that could have been bad. JJ had his ankle rolled over, but he is getting up slowly, and Waterman can't connect from 3. And that could have been really ugly. And that basket will count as Fontez Jules will head back to the free throw line. He converts in transition through the contact, and the Saints are back to within 12.
Chestnut got to head to the bench. He's hobbling. Hopefully he's okay. See if he ends up at the trainer's table. Goldstein also sitting down now. Adelaide Oikami and Shamar Laddie come into the game.
That looked really bad when it happened on the floor. JJ limping on the sideline, but was able to continue playing. So we'll see. Meanwhile, the Dolphins' lead is trimmed down to 11. Still over 5 minutes to go until halftime. This game looked like it was about to spiral out of control for D'Youville. They've really turned it around.
Yeah, a lot of free throw chances. They made them count.
Mallory was fouled there.
Once again, the size advantage for the Dolphins works on that one, as Mallory was going up against Hutchins in the post. And it forced Birdsong trying to get the jump ball forced on that possession, but it was called for the foul.
Dolphins already in the penalty. D'Youville with just 5 team fouls. This is Waterman. No good. Bryce now 4 of 8 on 8 3-point tries. Nothing out of the ordinary there.
Nope.
Once again, the Dolphins almost immediately committing a foul. It's foul number 11 on CSI in this first half.
I think that's something that TJ Tibbs will most likely talk to us about at the halftime report, trying to avoid giving up this many fouls, as it's let the Saints get back into this game now. A chance right here, the second free throw, to make it a single-digit deficit.
This, to me, Joe, I feel like this is the longest half of basketball I've ever watched here. What are we, like 40 minutes into this half?
Seems like it.
The first game did run a bit late. There were a lot of whistles and free throws late in that game as well. Good turnout for a Super Bowl Sunday game. Nice D'Youville contingent here as well. As McAllister hits the turnaround, and that ends a D'Youville run.
Nice job there, Jordan, with just signature high arcing shot. Hard to defend that.
D'Youville was on a 9-0 run before that last basket. Tyson had it poked away. Outlet pass toward Mallory. He was met by Birdsong. He finds Oyekanmi, and the layup won't go. Second try is good. Count it. And one. As Birdsong is down, he may have taken an elbow to the face.
Well, let's hope Birdsong's okay, but great effort there by Mallory to track down that ball. Gets it to Oyekanmi and misses the first shot, but gets his own rebound and lays it up and in.
We'll see if they take a look at what happened. Here's the full replay. Well, any contact that occurred was obviously unintentional. It looked like when Oyekanmi leapt for the rebound, he leapt up into the face of Bryson Birdsong. And Birdsong will head over to the trainer's table to get looked at. D'Youville was back to within single digits just moments ago. And with this free throw, Dolphins can go back up 14. And the free throw is no good. Rebounded by Hammonds. Tyson for 3. Air ball.
The fans are really letting Tyson have it here.
Crowd having some fun at his expense after that last shot.
McAllister and Laddie, I don't understand why they're trying to get the ball to have an inbound play, and the referee held it and held it and held it. Not sure why.
We approach 4 minutes to play in the first half. Laddie drives the baseline, finds a cutting McAllister, and the throwdown won't go, but Mallory has the putback.
Mallory there to clean it up. 4th rebound, 10 points for him.
McAllister was trying to put him on a poster, guys, right there.
Well, they were all practicing in pregame with the dunks. And I saw a few players throw it down who I was surprised were able to throw it down.
I'm fairly certain that just about everyone on the roster can dunk.
Armas was dunking in pregame, Laddie dunking, McAllister.
I would bet all of them can dunk. Nice move there by Adebayo Conmi.
Good turnaround jumper right there for him. We saw that in the last game from him as well.
Dolphins now in front by 17 behind an 8-0 run. And right on cue, Noah Hutchins breaks the scoring drought with a three-pointer. He's had a really nice half, 16 points on 5 of 7, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc, and 4 of 4 from the line. This is Laddie inside to Mallory, and his shot won't go. Masai with a big size advantage on the inside. This is Hutchins again. And he lost the ball, and it belongs to the Dolphins. And with that, we will have our final media timeout of the half. 2:33 on the clock. CSI leads the Uville, 47-33. Just over 2.5 minutes to play in the first half. The Dolphins lead it by 14 points. Dolphins had their lead cut to 9. They jumped right back in front by 17. That lead down to 14. Dolphins did make some substitutions. Blake Wilson, Justin Zeres into the game. As that one was headed right for us.
Went off the leg of Tyson right there, so 20 to go on the shot clock for the Dolphins.
Looks like the official has a problem with something with the UVU player.
Deep three by Clancy is good. And the Dolphins are back ahead by 17.
Way downtown there, knocks down the shot.
Clancy 2 for 2 with 5 points and 5 minutes off the bench as Hutchins continues his offensive dominance. He has 18.
The crowd's saying give it to Bryce. I think we all want to see Bryce get the ball.
Waterman with 12. He needs 20 for 1,000 points as a Dolphin, as you get a look at that last three by Clancy.
So a lot of time for Bryce in this game. Try to achieve that mark.
Top of the arc, Tyson. No good from 3.
If you guys remember how Messiah Mallory got his 1,000 point, he didn't have any points, I believe, going into halftime.
I think you're right. That last shot missed. Here come the Saints again. Under 90 seconds to go in the first half. Hutchins for 3. No good. And a foul is called against the Uville in the chase for the rebound.
Well, coming up at halftime, a lot to look forward to. Perhaps a special guest interviewer, and I think Joe's going to have a special guest interview.
We'll see. Chris is on the other side of the gym, so
talk to your
figure
pregame now.
We'll figure it out.
He's probably texting all his friends right now saying, make sure you tune in to CSI Sportsnet.
He's sending them all
be
the
coming
link.
up. He's sending the link in the group chat.
All right. Hopefully the play button works, because the play button on the ECC network has been problematic throughout the season.
Well, anytime I watch the Dolphins, I go old school. CSIDolphins.com.
That's where the problem is.
CSI Sportsnet.
That's where the
Doesn't
problem
work
is on the website.
On the
app
CSI
works.
website.
The
Wow.
app works,
Oh, boy.
I think it's because I'm trying to view it too soon after it ends, I think. Dolphins by 17, just over a minute to go before halftime. And that's a tough shot by Fontes Jules in heavy traffic. Here comes Zeris the other way. Zeris into the corner. Wilson, wide open three. Splash.
Love seeing the freshman make an impact. Tibbs fired up, hopping and skipping down the sideline there after that.
He's not the only one, guys. The crowd behind us going wild after that last three-pointer.
Dolphins ahead by 20 again. And that's a high-arcing three-pointer by Chase Jenkins. .20 had matched the Dolphins' largest lead of the game. They led 34-14 as well.
A 6-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock.
Laddie crosses over and had it knocked off his leg. Laddie didn't like it, but that's the right call. Adelaide and Michael Oyakamni will check in for the final possession of the half. Luis Armas in the game as well.
You just got to look at that last three-pointer made by Blake Wilson.
Can't leave Wilson open in the corner. We've seen that more than once this year. Likes that spot. 6 seconds to play before halftime. Hutchins had it knocked away. And it will stay with D'Youville. .3 to go. And Sean Hargrave will
going to
check
come in to stop the inbound, obviously, with his long wingspan, 6'8". He's a specialist at this, Joe, Nick.
He was brought in for this purpose. Clock started a little bit late there. And Mallory heaves one over the entire basket.
That's up.
That'll do it for the first half. The Dolphins lead by 17 through the first 20 minutes. Our score at the intermission: Staten Island 55, D'Youville 38. The TLC Physical Therapy halftime report coming up next.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Back with our TLC Physical Therapy halftime report. Here is men's head basketball coach TJ Tibbs. He's joined by my broadcast partner, Nick Durst.
All right, thanks, Nick, here at Coach Tibbs. Coach, strong first half. It was a quick turnaround from Friday night. How'd you get the team ready, not only mentally, but physically?
I can't take any credit for any of that. I think the leaders of the team understand this is the schedule. I mean, Uville had to drive up here from UDC, and they're ready to play. So, if I have to get them ready to play at this stage, then not only am I not doing my job, but we probably have the wrong group of guys here. So, happy with some things. Defensively, I think we could be a lot better, especially being smart. We put a lot of teams on the foul line in the first half. Credit to the way Uville plays. I mean, Noah Hutchins is incredible. He's driving. Fontes, Jules, all the guys. Jenkins, I can name there, attacking the basket. So we got to do a better job of keeping those guys in front of us.
Talk to everybody about the depth of your team. 9 players in the first half recorded at least a point.
I think we probably played 11 or 12, but everybody, we have a kid, Mitchell Wiggin, who is incredible, who's redshirting this year. I mean, guys like, and I'll tell you about Sean Hargrave. Sean Hargrave, man, is improving every single day. He redshirted last year. He's out here. We just put him in for 3 seconds to have an impact. He had an impact on making that ball go out further than it had to go. I think every guy, if we had to, is ready to play and contribute to a championship-level team. But guys are in front of them and are doing the job they're supposed to do. But it makes for incredible competition in practice. And what you hope is that it builds the continuity of your program, that younger guys, you just have them here instead of searching for the oldest guy in the portal and trying to fix it. So we have a lot of young guys that are going to make a lot of mistakes, but our oldest guys make mistakes too. So I think you've seen Justin Ziris out there. He's our most important player on the team, the most important player on the team. And this is the 7th game that he got action in. So we have depth for days. I'm lucky to have that and fortunate we've been healthy, but if we're not, I could go to anybody on the bench.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time. Best of luck in the second half.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, Nick, back over to you at the commentary desk.
Thank you, Nick. And that was Coach TJ Tibbs with the TLC Physical Therapy Halftime Report. His team's versatility and his bench working to a good start. They lead this one going into the halftime, 55-38 over the Saints. When we come back from this break, second half action between the Dolphins and the Saints.
Dear wrestling.
Dear volleyball.
Dear softball.
Dear soccer. Thank you for taking me on a journey of a lifetime.
You have given me light in the darkest times where I thought light could not enter.
This sport is so special to me because it taught me how to be a good sport. Shake hands before and after you wrestle. Showed me how to reach really high highs and really low lows. And it taught me how to be a man, how to deal with adversity both on and off the mat.
Soccer really is the beautiful game, and it will take you more places and give you more experiences than you could have ever dreamed of.
You have taught me that this game is about so much more than myself and more than the wins and the losses. It's about the impact you can make on people and the difference you can make in this world just by playing this game.
My coaches and teammates have taught me more about volleyball and about life than I thought was possible to learn in 4 years.
So I want to thank you for the life you've given me. Not the wins and losses, but the purpose I have found in you. You've taught me what it means to be a champion. Not a wrestling champion, but a champion of life.
With you, there is no race, no gender, no rich, and no poor. There is just a ball, 2 goals, and a common language.
When I'm faced with conflict and trouble, wherever life takes me, I will look back on my years of playing and know you have taught me how to handle it with grace.
Remember to be grateful to the many people who have helped you along the way.
Thank you for being so much more than a sport. This sport has given me everything and more.
And we are back from the tank. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Nick Bavona and a second-time guest here on the broadcast as Chris Granozio from D2EastHoops.org joins us. And Chris, welcome back to the broadcast. What are your thoughts so far in this game in the first half?
High scoring, high energy, and very good three-point shooting from the Dolphins. And it's going about as I expected. Maybe a few more points for D'Youville than I expected with Trayton Trice being out early with the injury.
Well, we've been following this Dolphins team all season, of course, here on CSI Sportsnet. Last time you got to look at this Dolphins team in person on the broadcast with us was all the way back in the beginning of the season. I believe you were here once since as well. But What are your thoughts on how the CSI team has progressed throughout the season? A couple of tough losses to get things started, now near the top of the ECC, and of course, the ECC, our focus here at the College of Staten Island. Some of your thoughts on the ECC as well.
Yeah, well, first of all, with the Dolphins, the fourth time I've seen them, 3 times here, once at Mercy. I think they are deep. They're talented. You got a first-team all-conference player in Messiah Mallory, who I believe, if James Patterson weren't around, he'd be player of the year unanimously in this league. I think the team is extremely well coached by TJ Tibbs and his staff. The game against Stack here, when you almost stole the win because of TJ Tibbs' brilliance with the double lane violation, just fantastic. But also, I think, you're seeing the team rise each year. They're getting a little bit better each year. They're getting familiar with the lay of the land, Division II landscape in the conference. Stack is still the mountain to climb. They're the only fully funded team in this program in this league, so they're always going to be the measuring stick. But you've taken them to the wire once. Lost one up there by 20-plus points, but it was a closer game than that the whole way.
Yes.
Until they pulled away. So I think that, you're seeing the rise of the Dolphins here. And if he can continue to bring in quality players, Chris Clancy, a really nice bench piece to bring in for depth, a guy that's not costing him much money. You get him for pretty much nothing from Gannon, and he can give you some big-time minutes off the bench. Just a very good program. Love the way that TJ runs this program and the way you guys run this whole show here. It's always fun to see games here.
We appreciate that.
Yeah. Chris Clancy, a former STP graduate, just like myself.
How about that?
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
But, Chris, I would be remiss for not asking you. I know today's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I got to ask you, what is your prediction for tonight's game? What do you got?
It's funny because I'm so into basketball mode that, I do follow football, of course, like anybody, but I would probably say, I don't know, something's telling me the Chiefs are going to win, even though I'm a Broncos fan. It kills me to say that because they're our arch rivals. But I would say that I think the Chiefs are going to win 24-16.
24-16.
Low-scoring game.
Yeah. I think the Chiefs' defense is going to be integral to that.
Now, part of our conversation last time, and you came ready with an answer today, Nick Durst asked you about some of your favorite uniforms in the conference. Today, you came with a detailed response. What have you got for us?
So I remember that. It was opening weekend, and you guys stumped me because I'm one that follows everything about the region, including uniforms, and I had no answer for you because it was early in the season, and I didn't expect that question. So, yes, I've all year long, I've seen every team in the region, all 39 of them, all 33 of them, rather, and I've looked at every team's home and road uniforms. And I think the best is St. Michael's, and they're the second best team in the region behind Stack right now. And then right behind them are Mercy, Georgia, and Court. The worst teams, from my judgment, Queens, the home uniforms with just the logo on the front. It's ugly. Felician has also a really bad alternate jersey that's gray with a little tiny logo in the middle of it. It's just a sea of gray and looks terrible. Mm-hmm. I also like the Dolphins uniforms. They're in the upper half.
For me, a bad jersey is one where, as a statistician or a broadcaster, I cannot clearly make out the number. For me, bad numbers, especially over at soccer with the white on white.
You know what's interesting is right across the borough here, Wagner has some horrendous uniforms that are all gray with dark green numbers and no border, and it's very hard to decipher the numbers. I broadcast a game there recently, and it was hard to see, what their numbers were if you didn't know the body types and the players.
Well, I'll tell you, we have a former CSI staffer working over there, Joe Masha. I'll have to send him a message and ask him what's up with those dark green
uniforms
on gray uniforms. Now, I was actually speaking to TJ earlier today. He said that some crew from D2 Hoops usually covers some of the men's basketball conference championship. Was he correct?
So usually it's some kind of combination of me, Tim McCaffrey, sometimes Steve Zerdelian, but he focuses more on the women. We're always at the regionals, and we're sometimes, more often than not, asked to broadcast some of the games.
Okay.
So it all depends on where it is and what personnel they have available to do the games. But in many of the cases, I'm doing the games. There was one time where I did all 4 regional semifinals in one day. So
that's a busy day. That's much like the Tournament of Heroes for us. And with some of the results from earlier today, it's possible right now that both semifinal and final games could be played at Stack.
Very much so. What's really interesting with the Stack women winning today over Roberts Wesleyan and the Damon women losing at UDC, Stack is now 1 game behind Damon, and they play each other on Friday. I'm going to be at that doubleheader up at Lumsden Gym in Amherst, and that's going to be for first place on the women's side. The men, Stack has it pretty much wrapped up. They have a 3-game lead in effect over you guys because of the sweep. So I think, barring some bizarre act of nature, Stack's going to host that men's regional or the men's tournament semifinals. But, yeah, the women could be there, too, if Bill Cleary's team could pull an upset on the road.
Should be an exciting stretch run to watch in the conference. We are certainly looking forward to it. What are some of your expectations from the East region moving forward toward NCAA tournament time? Obviously, here at CSI, we cracked the top 10 earlier this season, perhaps making a late push to get back in. But what are some of the standout storylines for you heading toward the end of the season?
Well, I think the number one storyline, and I've written this on my website, is that it is a wide-open region. There's so much parity/mediocrity, however you want to put it. There are no great teams in this region. And there are maybe 2 teams that are really struggling, but everybody else is like an accordion crunch right in the middle. A lot of teams, depending on matchups, injuries, can make a run here. And that whole, after St. Thomas Aquinas at number 1 and St. Michael's 2 in the region, from 3 to 12, 13 is a big mosh pit. And Staten Island is at the lower end of that. A couple of your losses, non-conference, really are kind of keeping you out of it. Strength of schedule being in the ECC doesn't help. But you got all these teams in the middle there, including Damon from your league. You've got Post, Dominican, Bloomfield, Jefferson from the CACC. You've got Southern Connecticut, Bentley. Who else in the NE10? Off the top of my head here, Southern New Hampshire. Like, you got a whole bunch of teams that are kind of in that mix. That who knows what's going to happen these last 3 weeks of the season. You can have, and the regional's probably going to be held at St. Michael's because St. Thomas Aquinas can't host in their gym. St. Michael's at 18-5 in the NE10. I think they're probably going to be hosting the regional in Vermont, which is way up north, and so everybody's going to be probably migrating up there for the regional.
And that was a signature win for the Dolphins earlier
Yes,
this
it
season.
was.
A very big one, and that came on the heels of some tough losses to open up the season during the Tournament of Heroes. We have about 2 minutes before this game resumes. Chris, we'll let you head back over to the scores table. Thanks so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure. You guys are the best. I listen to your broadcast sometimes when I'm on the road, and you always do a great job, and thank you for having me on. It's a
We
pleasure.
appreciate that, Chris. Thank you very much. Chris Granozio, D2EastHoops.org. Check him out there. We'll be right back as Nick Durst rejoins Nick Bavona and I on the call for the start of the second half from the tank. Second half about to get underway from the tank. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Nick Durst and Nick Bavona on the call for this men's basketball conference matchup. The Dolphins lead it by 17 at the start of half number 2.
Now, Joe, you had a nice halftime interview. Is that going to be on the next Dolphin pod?
We actually have our season premiere coming up. I believe the debut is going to be on Wednesday, February 21st. At least our broadcast debut.
Who's the big guest?
Akil St. Louis, head coach
of
CSI Cross Country Track and Field. They head to the conference championships this week. But I'm speaking to Akil on Wednesday, and we'll probably have to debut that episode a day or two after. We want to get that out ahead of the conference championship. So we'll debut it over on CSI Sportsnet on YouTube, as Chestnut was fouled and went down hard. Fortunately, he was able to break his fall, but we'll debut that over at YouTube on CSI Sportsnet, and then the broadcast debut here on the ECC Network will be ahead of our game on the 21st.
Now, is that going to air before the men's and the women's game?
I think typically the best time to do that is before the first game, because you never know how much time you'll have between the second game and the first game.
You also never know if I'll be able to get on the air in time in the first game either, with the internet issues in here.
Well, IT is scheduled to come back again on Wednesday, but I have a packed Wednesday. So
me too. I'll be here for another School Spirit Day initiative. Wear Red Day.
Wear red.
Show your.
I assume Wednesday's Valentine's Day.
Show your love. Yep. Show your CSI love by wearing red.
I will wear black. Birdsong to the basket. He draws the foul.
Now, Thursday, Joe, there's a big event going on in 1C that if you were a student and you actually, wanted to be social, would be right up your alley.
If I wanted to be social, you lost me.
Yes. Big laser tag events going on.
All of a sudden, I want to be social.
Now I think you want him back.
Can I change my answer?
I might have to join too.
That sounds good. I haven't played laser tag in a long time.
I think it's got Sal Caruso's fingerprints written all over it.
All right.
Not sure. I can't confirm that, though. But
where are they getting laser tag equipment? That can't be cheap.
I don't know.
Now I'm intrigued.
Must be the student government.
All of a sudden, I've become very social.
Should we broadcast the laser tag?
That would be special. Now, are the lasers blue? Dolphin blue?
They should be.
They should be.
The blue and white.
That'd be good. Team blue, team white. Fight with lasers fight.
Yep.
Before long, I might have to end up broadcasting our e-gaming team, which just continues to dominate. I was talking to Alberto before the game. He said they already have 7 championships because each semester is a new championship season. Incredible dominance by Alberto.
Alberto may win a Finney for Coach of the Year.
Great.
And Mallory lays that in for 2. Dolphins by 19.
The big award show at the Hilton this spring, I think.
Well, right now the plan is at the Staten as Mallory rejects that shot. But Hutchins would not be denied, and he's had himself quite the game at the offensive end. Now it's 20.
The only score for the Saints guys in double figures.
Mallory can't finish, goes right back up, and the hook won't go, and Mallory shaking out his hand there. Hutchins works his way inside, bounce pass, almost goes out of bounds to Hammonds. Now Hammonds will try and drive, and that's an offensive foul.
Good job by Aaron Goldstein to draw that foul.
The fans letting him know that he can't do that.
What I can't do is wear red on Wednesday.
Joe's going to break out his Chiefs or 49ers jersey from the inventory.
We're going to have a kiosk with my jerseys for sale as the alley-oop was deflected away. And Birdsong goes coast to coast.
Good to see Birdsong's okay after getting the elbow to the head earlier.
Goldstein up top for Chestnut. Now Mallory over to McAllister. McAllister. Offensive foul.
Looks like Birdsong did get his feet set.
Toughness of Birdsong, you got to admit, guys. He has been on the floor a bunch of times in this game.
Every time I look up, Birdsong is down on the floor.
Yeah.
Bodies flying around in this one. It's been a physical game.
Birdsong might have a future in wrestling because he could certainly take a bump.
I can't even dismount the dugout bench without injuring myself, so no future there for me. That was quite the day as Hutchins can't finish.
Was that 2 years ago?
That was last season during the home opener at softball.
And guys, Aaron Goldstein is down on the court. Getting up very slowly.
I think he got hit in the face.
Joe, remember that time you shattered your ankle over here trying to get out?
Here?
Yeah, one time you had to run across and you hurt your ankle. Or maybe you banged your knee or something.
I don't remember that, but
that was, I think, 2 years ago.
I do remember my ankle last year at softball, and that was a long, long day. Dolphins basketball leading by 15. Just under 17 minutes to go.
Goldstein checked out, so he's getting checked out now on the sideline. Hopefully he's okay. We saw on Friday he also left in that game against Demon.
Yeah, that was a leg injury on Friday. I think he got a cut maybe.
Yeah, he got hit in the face. Yeah, he's definitely bleeding after getting hit.
Looks like he cut his lip, he's pointing towards.
Dolphins by 17 again. Birdsong thought about the three and draws a foul. That's 3 on Chestnut. McAllister also has 3, and we have immediate timeout. 15:59 to go in the game. The Dolphins lead at 61-44.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Under 16 minutes to go from the tank, as once again, Noah Hutchins to the basket with an acrobatic finish. He has been phenomenal today.
Gives him now 22 points in this game. He cuts the deficit now to 15.
He's the big reason why D'Youville has been able to stay close.
Hutchins certainly battling, giving it his all on this one.
No other Saint has attempted more than 5 shots, and no other Saint has made more than half of their field goal tries on more than one attempt. And Waterman knocks down the 3.
There it is. Just inject a Bryce Waterman 3 into the fans' veins, because that's what everybody wants to see right now.
Guys, now 5 points away from that illustrious mark.
The crowd still into it as Mallory brings that one down. Laddie pulls up, wide open, and buries it.
Give Laddie some space in the paint somewhere. He's going to pull up, and he's going to bury a shot like he did there. 20-point lead.
We've seen defenses give Laddie a lot of room on the perimeter. And when they've closed in, as he picks up the blocking foul there, but when they've closed on him, he's then taken advantage in the mid-range. Very versatile offensive game for Shamar.
That last back bucket gave him now 9 points in this game. So once again, the Dolphins bench doing great work here in this game.
And the free throw is good. Birdsong 2 of 2 from the line. He'll head over to the bench. Saints with some full court pressure here. Dolphins handle it well. Laddie looks to attack, gets inside, almost lost his footing. And now McAllister on the perimeter. Jordan looks to drive. Lefty layup won't go. Chestnut got his hands on it and saves it to Waterman. Feed inside to an open McAllister, and he lays it in.
Great team basketball there. Selflessness, passing the ball around to find the open McAllister down low.
Selfless indeed, Nick, because I thought there was a good chance Bryce was going to shoot it. That's well within his range.
It's in his range, but Bryce is certainly a team-first guy.
No question. Waterman almost lost it. He sends it up to Mallory. Now Chestnut, who checks the shot clock. He looks to drive. Lefty layup is good.
Beautiful job there by Chestnut to take it to the rim and knock it in.
So adept with both hands around the rim. That last make a left-handed finish. Tyson looked unsure of what he wanted to do there.
Blocked by Mallory.
Mallory continues to pile up the blocks. It's the second of the game. Laddie can't finish that layup. And now Tyson is wide open. No good from three. And Chestnut has the rebound. Laddie into Mallory, and he draws the foul.
14 points for Mallory, 6 rebounds. Going to the free throw line to add 2 more potentially.
Also has 2 steals in the game and 1 block. So that last possession, they have not been able to guard him inside the paint.
First free throw is no good. Dolphins now with their largest lead of 22 points. And after being a bit disappointed with the first half, despite a sizable lead, TJ Tibbs has to be a bit happier here in the second half. Dolphins going with 4 reserves and Bryce Waterman. So you know that now that they're leading by 23.
It's on everybody's mind.
They're going to try and get them to 1,000 today.
Well,
I have a feeling.
2 more shots will do it.
He hasn't attempted a 2-pointer yet, so he will likely get it from beyond the arc. St. Louis lost the ball. Putnam tracks it down, and he throws it away.
Apologize right now, the camera.
We'll have to get some bigger batteries. The stock batteries can't quite make it through a full game. We'll be back online in just a moment.
Gotta get back to the wired camera days.
Here come the Saints back the other way. St. Louis to the rim, can't finish. And the Dolphins head back in the other direction. That's a nice move there by Shamar Laddie.
Take our word for it. A really nice move.
All right, main camera's back. We'll have to make a habit of switching out the battery every half. Those batteries certainly won't make it a full baseball or softball game, that's for sure.
No shot, especially with the length of some of the baseball games these days.
Yeah.
Won't even make it half a game.
What we can do also, and I think this is a better solution, we'll buy a second power supply, a wired power supply, as Clancy knocks down the 3. Up top, the transmitter has a power supply, so we'll just buy a second one. That'll solve the problem. Hutchins kicks out. Wide open 3 from Jenkins, way off. We'll head to immediate timeout. With 11:47 to go in the game, the Dolphins lead by a game-high 28 points.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30, touchdown. Michaela Burgess.
An incredible finish by Hall. The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
And we're back from the tank where the Dolphins lead by 28 points. Staten Island 76, Deauville 48. Deauville made a push late in the first half. They pulled to within 9, but it has been all Dolphins since. I believe it was 39-30. So since then, quite the extensive CSI run. Currently, it's a 10-0 Dolphins run. As Laddie will try the 3. That's no good. Michael Oyakonmi has the rebound. And Clancy has another 3.
Well, how many times do you see it, guys? Oyakonmi, offensive rebound, which leads to a three-pointer.
So, Nick, so that shot won't go. Next time you're on PA, I think you need to try and go with, on a Clancy three-pointer, that's a CC3. I think I mentioned that earlier in the season.
I mean, if they okay it, I'm sure they wouldn't mind it.
They wouldn't mind it. When Chris Velasquez hits a 3, you have to say it's a CV3.
CV3.
Yeah. Had to. Of course, that's reminiscent of an old Vince Carter three-point public address call.
I think there was nothing better than a Mickey 3.
That was a good one.
I know I said Mick.
Well, only our long-time viewers will understand that reference.
Nick Pavona's not even going to get that one.
He may have seen the footage.
I think I have.
Long story short, we had a first-time commentator on the air as Oyakonmi nearly threw down that dunk. And it just always seems that when the conversation strays outside of what's going on the floor, we have a play like that.
Had to stop because the rim keeps shaking. Coach is not happy about the stability of the rim.
I don't think that's what they're unhappy about. I think perhaps they're saying there was a foul by Oyakonmi to boost himself up.
I think they were upset about the foul that was called on the rebound.
Okay.
Bryce, pull it up.
And he gets the roll. He's 2 points away.
Bryce, baby, with the lucky roll there. 2 points to go for Bryce Waterman for 1,000.
So, long story short, first-time commentator called Austin Mack. And when he was corrected, he assured us that he said Mick during starting lineups.
He knew he said Mick.
He knew he said Mick, as our audience heard during the commercial break for that game. He did not say Mick. It was a Big Mac.
Okay. And thus the Mickey 3 was born.
Happens to the best of us.
Well, the question here, Joe, is if Bryce Waterman does not get 20 points, is he still going to be the TLC, physical therapy player of the game?
He's getting it. There's 10 minutes left. They're going to find a way to get him one more
And
basket.
keep in mind.
And sorry, Nick, but how quickly will Short Hargrave check into the game once Bryce Waterman knocks down that 20th point?
I would say a good amount of time. I was going to point out
Bryce will come out as soon as he gets it. The Dolphins will call timeout.
Look at the team fouls in the second half. It's 6-6. So if the Dolphins, if he can get to the free throw line, he could do it there to get an even 20 on the dot.
I think we want to see Joe. We want to see him knock it down with a 3.
That's fitting.
That would be fitting.
Because that'll be a better call for you than, oh, he made the free throw. It's 1,000 points.
That's how it went from Messiah.
That from Messiah Mallory.
Yeah, those are tough. I think Christian Taylor got there from the line as well.
Now the question is Andrew ready?
I hope so. What are we paying him for if he's not?
Wasn't here. wasn't here before the first game. Marquise is over there.
They are all in anticipation for a potential 20-piece right here from Bryce as Blake Wilson will shoot the free throw. Well, you know, McDonald's is one of our sponsors.
I hear a 20-piece, and I'm thinking about my McNuggets.
They are one of our sponsors.
And Wilson nets 2 free throws. Kick out into the corner. St. Louis pulls up. Short. Armas has the rebound.
All right, guys, let's see. Will this be the possession?
He's got it. Deep 3. No good.
Oh, the bench.
The bench was ready.
That was from Nick Pavona.
And St. Louis throws down the dunk.
That shot attempt could not have been any further back because he would have been out of bounds.
Nick was there. Bryce could hear Nick in his ear.
Give it to Bryce.
Clancy. For Oyakonmi. Out to Waterman. Waterman steps back. And he does not get the roll, but the tip-in from Wilson is good.
I was going to say, Joe, it would have been so ironic if Bryce gets the 1,000th point on a 2-point attempt.
That would have been peak irony, I must say. Here's a three-pointer on the way. No good by Thompson. It will be Dolphins basketball. Waterman. In, out, and back in again. 1,000 points as a Dolphin for Bryce Waterman.
An immediate timeout called by the Dolphins as they're going to celebrate this commemorative moment for Bryce Waterman.
Congratulations to Bryce Waterman, who now enters the Hall of Immortals, one of the all-time great College of Staten Island Dolphin players, as he is now surpassed 1,000 career points. Congratulations to one of the best all-around people in the program, Bryce Waterman.
No doubt about it. One of the best players, one of the best people, and he has been so important to the growth of this men's basketball program these last several years. And now Bryce Waterman earns a spot among the elite scorers in the history of CSI Dolphins men's basketball with 1,000 points at the College of Staten Island.
It just doesn't happen often, Joe and Nick. 2 1,000 career point scorers on the same roster. You can make the case, if not for Waterman's injury last year, he would have hit 1,000 points a few weeks ago. So what a dynamic duo between Bryce and Messiah Mallory. What a treat, what a pleasure it has been to watch these two young men the last 3 years.
And they made a big impact in this game, guys. 21 for Waterman, 15 for Mallory. The Dolphins, a really good, convincing game they've had here tonight against the Saints. A big lead here with 9 minutes to go in the second half. CSI's got to be loving what they've been doing in this game as they carry over to UDC, the next one.
Big game coming up for the Dolphins at the District of Columbia. Mathematically, I am certain that if the Dolphins win their next game following a win today, they clinch a playoff spot.
And here comes Sean Hargrave, as I predicted, for Bryce Waterman.
Dolphins will give some of the reserves a chance to close this game out. See if Justin Zeres comes in as well later in this game. Got some minutes in the first half.
Yeah, I would imagine Zeres may potentially come in for Clancy at some point. It looks like right now Clancy going to be the point guard with the 5 on the court.
I'm not sure we've seen Chris run the point this year. As once again, Duville throws it to the backcourt.
Now, Nick, I know high school basketball is a little different, but the Clancy, I would assume in high school, Clancy primarily had the ball in his hand every time.
Most of the
every
time,
possession.
yeah.
So he's very comfortable.
Especially when you're in those big-time scenarios, you want to give the ball to your best player, whether they're the point guard or not. They always bring the ball up, and they're going to be the reason why they win the game at that last possession.
Armas in and out. And Hargrave almost had the rebound. And Justin Zeres will head to the scorer's table as that three-pointer is good by Birdsong. Under 8.5 to play. Dolphins by 32.
So, Joe, my question is for the next home game, do you just replace Messiah's name in the speech for Bryce, or do you kind of tweak it and make it more personalized? And it depends if that basketball is going to be ready in time.
You know, I actually wrote the speeches independently of one another, so I don't know what I wrote for Messiah's because it wasn't in the script that I had saved. What I do is I update the public address script game to game, and there are certain sections of the script that are red. Those are the sections that need to be changed each game. So those are the team names, the time of day, conference and non-conference doubleheader. So stuff like that gets changed. any additions made to an old script get deleted when it's saved again. So Messiah's speech was not in there. Considering that Armas scores there, but considering that it's something that's read pretty much in-game, even if it is during a timeout, it's an in-game announcement, we keep it short, 2 or 3 lines max.
Yeah, we got to think about the pregame ceremony speech that'll be coming up when Bryce gets his 1,000 career point basketball.
Perhaps there'll be a line in there about his prolific shooting numbers this year. He is still the best shooter in the conference.
And let's keep in mind that this is his last year, and he's only going to be here for 3 years, so he could have finished with a lot of points if he was eligible to play again next season. But really excited for Bryce Waterman, and we're all happy that he came back for his graduate season this year to surpass 1,000 career points.
Absolutely. As we will take immediate timeout here with 7:33 remaining in the game. Our score, Staten Island 91, Duville 59.
Dear college sports,
there's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
Just over 7.5 minutes to go from the College of Staten Island. Big lead for the Dolphins, as Aaron Goldstein will also check back in the game.
Guys, being today's Super Bowl, we're going to see the Gatorade postgame for one of the winning coaches. Do you think Bryce might get a Gatorade shower after this game?
Well, I think that's been outlawed after a few years ago when the soundboard got destroyed.
Okay.
If they were going to give him a Gatorade bath, they better not do it over here.
Yeah.
And if they were to give him a Gatorade bath, I think there would be some very unhappy facility staff members that have to clean it up. Now, if they were going to do that, the locker room might be the right place.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, listen, the problem is Pete's not here today, so I don't know who's going to clean it up.
Hargrave short on that three.
Is Harris in the game along with Aaron Goldstein?
That's a blocking foul.
Note to mention also for the Dolphins, their season mark for highest points they've scored this year is 101, so they are on pace to break that mark in this game with 6:55 to go. And the fans are not happy
some
with
aspiring officials, Joe.
That's more than aspiring. You're one step away from wearing black and white stripes.
That sounds like some fatherly love.
People are amped up for tonight. That's why.
Sometimes I just can't bear to watch professional football when they go through officiating decisions.
What do you think, guys? Does the game come down to a whistle? Comes down to a flag tonight?
What do we think? Is the game rigged or not?
I don't see any way that the Chiefs weren't
ordained to win already?
Ordained to win. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah. If they ever wanted the general public to believe the Chiefs had no chance of winning, all they had to do is put on the show they put on for the last month of the season, because it was bad. I had no faith in them entering the playoffs.
They should have lost against Baltimore if you think about it. So Armas knocks down that three.
Love to see that. Louis Armas knock it down to three. And his hot shooting.
That three-pointer short by Birdsong.
Joe, one of our favorite calls from last year was Armas's game-winning three against America International.
That was arguably game of the year. And there have been, these last couple of years now, as Hargrave might have been thinking about throwing it down. And
he 100% was.
At the end of pregame warm-ups, he puts an exclamation point on things with a dunk each and every home game, and I think the defense knew he was looking to slam it there.
He wanted to put an exclamation point on the end of this game.
Yes, he did. And I forgot what I was talking about before that. Probably the Chiefs.
I think we're talking about the game of the year last year.
We were talking about Armas' game-winning three last year against American International.
A lot of great games these last 2 years with the playoff eligibility becoming a part of it. I think the intensity of the conference games certainly rises. But that game, a non-conference game, and a very entertaining one at that. Well, Nick, I think you jinxed it during one of the commercial breaks. It was about 4:40, 4:45 with 11 minutes on the clock. And you were thinking, maybe we're out of here in 15 or 20 minutes. 6 minutes of game time have gone by in the last 25 minutes.
Unfortunately, you can't speak anything into existence when it comes to games like this.
Listen, I've been a high success rate today. I predicted Sean Hargrave to come for Bryce Waterman.
Sure.
I predicted Kyra Rose to be getting the ball off the inbound play to go to the basket to win the game. So, 2 for 3 is not bad. That's Hall of Fame worthy level in baseball.
I think you needed to make that declaration on air, and it would have happened. It's because we said something during the break.
Right.
Yes.
My prediction, guys, is 30 more minutes for the next 5.5 minutes.
All right, let's hope it's faster than that. I still have a car ride out to New Jersey.
We still have a cleanup here to do after
The
this
refs
game.
being...
We'll do it Monday.
All right. How you going?
I'm sure they'll understand.
College is actually closed tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
Well, why? Is there a holiday or something?
There's a holiday tomorrow.
Okay.
Is tomorrow President's Day or the
Next
week after?
week.
Then tomorrow is one of the president's birthdays.
Yeah, Lincoln or Washington.
I've always been of the notion that the day after the Super Bowl should be a holiday regardless.
Well, it is for Joe. No meeting tomorrow morning for him with the staff.
My meetings are numbered. Armas. Off back iron. Tyson, Euro step, was stripped by Ziris.
Now, guys, I want to know. As we've got a bit of an entanglement there for Blake Wilson. Jump ball here. Do you have faith that Lewis will send Bryce over after the game for the post-game?
I'd hope so.
I mean, the amount, I should say the lack of confidence you've expressed in Lewis today is striking.
Oh, there were more comments that I missed?
Well, the first game, Joe said it's got to be Alacon. They got to send her over.
In his defense, I will say, I said Kyra originally because she had a 20-point game. That's why I originally said that.
Can't disagree with
so,
you there.
I can't fault them
But
for that.
Lewis should be communicating with the athletic communications.
I did say to him, if you wanted to text Joe to X, let him know.
Communication sometimes lacking. That's all I'll say.
Well, we know Lewis loves doing basketball because...
Do we?
He is going to be sweating bullets on any foul balls for baseball real soon.
It's a long story.
Joe's got to make sure he doesn't get hit one by one in the chest.
I've been hit now twice in the last 2 seasons. Incredible. Both at baseball. We're in a press box.
I think you should wear a chest protector when we go for the season.
I'll definitely bring the rib padding to the first game. My midsection not quite as fortified as it used to be. Now it's just insulated. At least I'm warm in the igloo.
That's true.
The igloo, of course, can sometimes be referring to this gym on a game day. It gets awfully cold in here.
Friday night was hot.
It was very warm.
Today is freezing.
It was warmer earlier, but it's getting a little bit colder as the days going on.
I prefer freezing than over the hot gym. It just doesn't work for me. And you got to keep your play-by-play guy happy. I'll put it in my next employment contract. We'll negotiate a temperature for the gym. Putnam, deep three. In and out. Armas with the rebound. Michael Oyakonmi gets set to check back in. This is Blake Wilson backing in. He fakes, and the turnaround won't go. Fontez Jules kicks out to an open Birdsong. No good from 3. Armas has another rebound. Goldstein out of a double team finds Hargrave. Hargrave to the basket, and he scores.
Well, Coach Tibbs told me at halftime, Hargrave, he gets better and better every day. And with that wingspan, you got to imagine as his career progresses, he'll become a major player for the Dolphins.
Fontez Jules knocks down that last 3. And at times, the Dolphins have lacked that size off the bench to give Messiah Mallory extended breaks, and I think they're trending the direction where players like Wilson and Hargrave could potentially give him more of a breather from game to game.
Absolutely. You can see their skill level so far in their action. Also, Coach Tibbs mentioned Mitchell Wiggin, who is redshirting, as another player to keep an eye on in the future.
You can count that basket through the contact as Wilson and Putnam collided in midair, and Putnam was able to hang and hit. Final media timeout of the game here with 2:39 remaining. Dolphins lead it 96-74.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor.
It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
When all eyes are on the court, we're focused on what matters most, preparing college athletes for a lifetime of opportunity. After the buzzer, off the court, it's about education and working to earn a degree. Creating healthier campuses through groundbreaking research and policies. And a fair shot so dreams can stay on track. United as an association, we've got work to do. We're building a pathway to lifelong opportunity.
.239 to go from the tank. Dolphins leading by 22 points. We thank everyone who tuned in today and spent their Super Bowl Sunday with us. An extended pregame show.
I mean, who in their right mind would sit down and watch the CBS pregame show for like 8 hours when you could watch 5.5 hours of basketball in live action? That's what I would do. So I'm glad that everybody is watching us.
I might watch the Nickelodeon broadcast tonight.
I think I'm going to watch that, yeah.
They have one?
They do.
No Eagle, former Mike guest on the call.
It's a CBS broadcast, so Nickelodeon can also stream it. So I think they said it's I think they're going to have SpongeBob and Patrick as like the field reporter or something like that, or like rule analyst. It's something like that.
I would have been into that probably 25 years ago.
Yeah. They're doing the Sweet Victory song at halftime, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have to see that. That's classic.
I think it's either at halftime or at the beginning. I want to say at halftime. Not too certain, but I might watch that broadcast.
I might have to check it out. More free advertising for a non-sponsor. Under 2.5 to play now. Tyson gives it up. And now Putnam working against Zeris, backs in and draws a foul.
How many more free throws have they got in this game, guys?
I'm sure,
over 20 fouls now in this half.
Do these officials know what day today is?
I mean, you got to feel for the Saints, Joe. I know you discussed this early in the season, but they're going to miss the whole Super Bowl. They're going to be the bus.
They're going to have it on, and someone's going to have to stream it on a phone or an iPad or something like that.
Well, don't you need this Wi-Fi for the iPad?
No. I don't think. Maybe. I don't know.
If you have cellular, you won't need it. But I'll tell you, I feel for D'Youville, especially for the football fans. They have a long bus ride back, and I'm assuming that bus ride takes place today.
I guess luckily for them, the Bills are not in the Super Bowl, because that would have been really rough.
Zeros almost falling right into our laps.
Well, luckily for us, Justin Zeros was there to catch that basketball.
He
Last
knew.
thing I needed was a basketball to the face.
Just as the day.
Wednesday is Valentine's Day, after all.
No wonder why you wear black.
Well, the big question is
the Super Bowl party thinks I'm off the air.
Joe's getting called. The lasagna's ready. He's getting a call right now. The lasagna's ready. Where are you? I'm getting texts too. Where are you? We're about to eat. Our cameraman, Pat, he was telling me he's going to have stuffed shells when he gets home.
Yeah, Pat asked me to come hang out, but I'd already made plans.
Yeah. Pat said someone else asked him to come to his house. So another staff member who works here, but that person's not working today, so Pat's going to be
He can't be bothered. We know who's dedicated and who's not.
He's very dedicated to football.
Now you guys are talking
He's
about
dedicated to Bud Light.
You guys are talking about the other Pat. I was talking about
that's another sponsor.
Oh,
That's not us.
Is Pat Fleming going to Patty Two Cam's party?
He is not. Armas short on the 3. Fight for the loose ball. Zeros
that
down
effort.
to the floor. Armas with the save, and the Dolphins keep it.
Have fun styling that one.
Tremendous.
Bounce pass to Hargrave, and he lost it on the way up. This place was ready to erupt as Wilson steals it back.
Have to love the effort here by this team at the end of the game to maintain possession.
Here comes Putnam, and he scores.
All right, Nick, it's going to come down to this on your over 101. They have to score on this possession, otherwise they will hit the under of the season-high total.
That's true.
I don't think they're going to shoot, though. Both teams playing really hard these last few minutes.
They'll shoot. They'll shoot
Yeah?
one time. They'll shoot one time.
They will? All right.
May not be a great shot, but to avoid the shot clock violation, they're going to take a shot.
Well, a lot of the time, teams are willing to take one, and that would leave less than 30 seconds.
Oh.
And it's up
Armas going to go
Luis
to the
Armas.
line to help out Nick Pavona's proclamation.
I will feel vindicated because Joe was giving it to me during one of our breaks.
He's gonna,
now he's going to now knowing my luck, he'll finish at 101 exactly.
Let's be real.
Yeah, he's going to go 1 for 2.
Only I'm capable of such a jinx. I don't think anyone else has ever mastered the art of the on-air jinx like I have. There's one.
I saw a lot of no-hitters that you spoke into existence that got
We had a
broken
busy
up.
summer. We worked a
did.
lot of baseball games.
We did.
I think that week I covered 11 games.
Yeah.
All comes down to this, Nick.
He's got
Go.
There it is.
Season high mark for the Dolphins.
Sweet
Hashtag
Lou.
vindication.
Sweet Lou
Vindication.
making Nick look good.
Sweet victory. I'm going to sing of that later.
Dolphins looking good in this game, as that'll make it a 19-point game, but it was not that close. The Dolphins led this game by over 30 at one point.
Well, get ready, folks, because we will be having an interview with the newest member of the 1,000-point club, Bryce Waterman, in the postgame.
Well, the fans are chanting "Start the buses."
And I'm sure the players want to get on the bus immediately. To get home for the
I
Super Bowl.
agree.
I'm going to start my car. I'm about
They
to start the
might-
interview. See you guys.
They might go quickly as possible.
I just started my car from the commentary
Hurry
desk.
up. Get the banner. It's time for the postgame
Where's
interview.
the banner? TLC Physical Therapy post-game report coming up after a short break.
Do you want more recognition for your team?
Who should I ask if I have any problems? How can I share my ideas?
How can you get involved and make it yours? Joining Student Athlete Advisory Committee allows your voice to be heard.
The mission of SAC is to enhance the total student athlete experience by promoting opportunity, protecting welfare, and fostering a positive image. Who is SAC?
SAC members are student athletes supporting other student athletes. SAC members vote on rules, partner with great organizations such as Make-A-Wish and Team Impact, and build pride on campus and in the community.
There are 3 different levels of SAC to get involved in. At the campus level, there are 307 Division II institutions that sponsor SAC. Each campus SAC is led by an athletic administrator and a committee made up of student athletes from a variety of athletic teams.
There are 24 Division II conferences, each with their own conference SAC. The representatives share best practices, success stories, and new ideas that can be brought back to each campus SAC.
The National SAC is made up of 1 student athlete from each of the 24 Division II conferences. These student athletes are your voice and are charged with the responsibility of relaying the overall student athlete voice for the division.
Your voice has value.
Get involved.
Take ownership in your experience.
Leave a legacy.
Make it yours!
Back here for the post-game report, the Dolphins beating the Saints 102-83, and we are ready for our TLC Physical Therapy Player of the Game report with the newest member of the 1000 Career Point Club, Bryce Waterman. Take it away, Nick.
Thanks, Nick. Here with the player of the game, Bryce Waterman. Bryce, congratulations, 1,000 career points as a Dolphin. How's it feel?
It's good. It feels good, man. Shout out to all my teammates who give me the ball when I'm open. None of it's possible without them, but it's a great milestone. I'm happy.
Great milestone, and you did it here today. You did it at home. I know that was a big thing for you guys. And this year, you're taking your game to new levels. We joked about it many times here, but no face mask. What a difference. And your shooting has been incredible here. But you and your teammate, Messiah, both 1,000 career points. What does it mean to be able to play together for 3 years right now and bring the team, the program, to new heights?
Yeah, no, it's been great, man. I remember 3 years ago when we first came, we were getting blown out in a lot of games. And just to get wins, it just feels great. Congrats to everybody. It's a big-time thing, and we're just trying to keep going and try to win this championship this year.
All right, Bryce, congratulations. Go celebrate the 1,000 career points, the victory, and enjoy the Super Bowl.
Appreciate it.
All right, Nick, back to you at the desk.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you to the newest 1,000 career point scorer, Bryce Waterman, as the Dolphins picked up the 102-83 win over the Saints. Joe, great effort tonight from CSI on both sides of the court. Waterman finishes with 21 points, as we mentioned, the 1,000 career points now for his career. And the Dolphins get another big conference win as they try to lock up a top 2 seed in the ECC.
They need just one more win to lock up a playoff spot. They take another step toward locking up a first-round bye. The Dolphins really rolling right now. Picked up a big win on Friday. No letdown today. In fact, they did perhaps better than they could have hoped, led in this game by over 30 points at a time. Win by 19, but they will certainly take it as they continue to move toward the end of this season, playing some great basketball, and hopefully for this program, the best is yet to come.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the next coming weeks. Obviously, a matchup with UDC coming up for the Dolphins before they had a couple of road games to end this season, ultimately ending their final game of the year at Queens. We'll see if the Dolphins can get that top 2 seed and can make some noise in this year's playoff race.
Our next broadcast will be on February 21st. The Dolphins will take on Roberts Wesleyan University that day. We will have that broadcast for you here on CSI Sportsnet. But until then, this has been Joe Foreman for my broadcast partners, Nick Durst and Nick Bavona. Thanks for watching. Pat Gilorenzo, our camera operator. Once again, the Dolphins win over the Saints, remain in the number 2 seed in the East Coast Conference. We'll see you later this month.